Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is not bright here in the Samboner hood. What's going on, Mike Gill? What's going on, Mr. Colin Thompson? Happy Monday morning. Post Philadelphia Eagles loss.
Three of those. You got three of those on the year to say. Three of those. And people are, the sky is falling. It's
From
over.
10-1 to 10-3. Honest to God, I had a big bowl of crow for breakfast. I really did. I honestly, God, felt very confident going into last night's football game. And, we're going to get into that, but can we avoid it for a little bit?
Sure,
First
Mike.
and foremost, I want to take a quick shout out to the boys over at Army and Navy for the show that they put on every single year right around this time. That game, that tradition, we salute you. What an unbelievable showing year in, year out. I have never been to the Army-Navy game, but man alive, every year I watch that game, I say to myself, when are you going to go experience this for yourself? Mike Gill, have you ever been there?
I have been to an Army-Navy game, East Rutherford, New Jersey. I went when I was a kid. Yeah, it's not coming back to Philly for a while now. It's bouncing around for a couple of years before it gets back to Philly. I think it's 2028, maybe somewhere in that range. But
you know what I heard this weekend down here? Philly has it every year, but it opens up to a bid. And if somebody matches the bid, because there's a lot of stipulations that come with it. You need to house different people. You need to pay to get the entire university. The Naval Academy's all got to go, every student. So there's like these stipulations that aren't cheap. So like Robert Kraft had to pay for a lot of things to get Army and Navy there, which is not that's unrealistic. That's not how it works, right? So I think Philly's just getting outbid right now, but Philly is the home of it because they got to run. They run the game balls to the game. Navy,
yeah, they are getting the game. They do have the next a bunch of them already scheduled. I actually spoke to the two play-by-play guys for a different podcast that I host. Rich DeMarco does Army and Pete Medhurst does Navy, and just listening to them talk about the game and different things that go into it. But they said that for Gillette Stadium, that this was the biggest ticket demand in the history of that stadium.
Wow.
This week's game.
All those big Patriot games over the years?
Yep.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, listen, Army-Navy, someone ranked the rivalry, and they're putting Auburn, Bama, and all. Listen, it's the number one rivalry in sports. It's not even close, guys, because guess what? Everyone in that field is willing to die for all the goofballs drinking beer and watching the game. So, it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too. It's like the football game itself has become almost secondary.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's
really the experience. I mean, the bananas that are the shenanigans that are going on in the stands, especially after the game. A couple people posted videos of it. Dude, that is cool, man. It really is.
Listen, I went to an Army-Navy game. I was a kid. I went to a Navy game at Annapolis, and you're just in awe of what you're seeing there. So imagine you put 70,000 people in a building and you have the Naval Academy and Army in the same building. I mean, just to go to a Navy game and watch the pageantry of everything that's happening. Now, I went on senior day this year, so it was a little bit escalated in terms of all the pageantry and stuff, but just think about that with Army also being in the building. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I had to be 12, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in that range. So I haven't gone in years. I was a kid at the time, but yeah, the schedule coming out, they played one game west of the Mississippi. Do you know where it was?
It was out in L.A., I believe.
Rose Bowl. They played at the Rose Bowl one time that they've ever done Army-Navy west of the Mississippi. Yep. But they do have the next couple. I'll find it here in a second. But
I think Jerry's trying to get it.
Yeah, Jerry is trying to get it. It's become kind of like a U.S. Open pool at this point. But what is driving that just as of recent? Before it was Philly, DC, or Philly,
Baltimore,
Pittsburgh, maybe.
Baltimore,
Did they have the game at Yankee Stadium one year too, I think?
I have the list of so they played 41 times at JFK Stadium. They played 16 times or 18 times at Franklin Field, 17 times at the Vet, 14 times at Lincoln Financial. And then after that, you got 9 at the Polo Grounds, 4 at Giant Stadium, 4 at Baltimore. So you've got 2 at Municipal Stadium in Baltimore, the old one, 2 at Yankee Stadium.
Oh.
They played 2 at Army, and they played at FedEx Field once, MetLife once, Gillette once, Rose Bowl once, Soldier Field. They did play in Chicago.
Are people just realizing how great of an atmosphere that is?
No. It's always
so
been.
why is this? There's like this.
It's just like anything now that things are getting pawned off now, right? Like it's like a bidding war. It's a great point, Mick. It's really a great question. I would say no. My initial reaction is no. It's always been that way, but now everything's heightened with the phone, right? Everything's heightened with TV. Like College Game Day is gonna be there. Like if Jerry Jones, when he gets this, right, it's gonna be massive. It's Dallas. It's heart of football country. It's all the patriotism. So now there's a lot, and it's huge implications for this area. Navy. Also, the one tidbit I'll add is they're going to be in the same division now, same conference for the first time ever, I believe. Pretty sure they're joining the American Athletic Conference. Army is, which is a big deal. So Temple fans, you're going to be able to see a little Army Temple. You're going to see Navy Temple. So that's really good. Now, how's that work for conference play? They're still going to do the situation. So the game's still going to happen the week after conference championship weekend. But if they're in the conference championship games, they'll play each other back-to-back weeks. So if Army and Navy end up number 1 and 2 in the conference, East and West, they'll play back-to-back weeks. Now they'll play not at a central location. They're going to play at either Army or Navy, which would be so cool. I hope it happens in my lifetime down here. Navy football's got a lot of work to do, and so does Army to get to those 2 points. But yeah.
I mean, the game is secondary, but Colin, like, what was the over/under on that game? Honestly, is it ever over 30 points?
It was this year.
It's interesting because, right, if they both win that, they would play back-to-back weeks, and you wonder, would it take some luster off?
I don't think so. I think people will be like, yes, we get Army Navy back-to-back weeks.
Now, future games coming up, by the way. 2024, next year, it's at FedEx Field, which is one of the worst venues you could possibly ever think of, but that's where it is. M&T Bank Stadium in 2025, MetLife Stadium in 2026, and then back to Lincoln Financial Field in 2027.
The Link's the best for it because of, and it's not because of Philly, it's because of the parking, the tailgate situation, the other stadiums, the accessibility to the city. You can get it's perfectly in the middle between them, right? Pretty much.
That's the thing. It's in the middle of both places.
It's also a grass field, which makes the game so much better.
Baltimore is a clear Annapolis home field advantage there. So that kind of defeats the whole Philly it's right smack in the middle of both places. Yeah. If you put it in a Giant Stadium, it's more towards the Army
Plus,
side.
Giant Stadium stinks. I hate to say it. I'm blessed to be a Giant. It was first class organization, but it's not Giant Stadium anymore, whatever it is. MetLife. But it's not a good stadium.
Listen, that place with the turf problems they've been having all season long.
It's a racetrack. It's a racetrack. I played on. You could wear sneakers on it. It's so yeah. I mean, I don't. It's a shame. That to me, Giant MetLife should be Jerry's world. I would have went down to Dallas, said, "Hey Jerry, how'd you build your stadium? We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to make it indoor. We're going to make it year round. We're going to have March Madness here. We're going to have NHL. We're going to have
Oh my God!
But they went open air and they played a Super Bowl in snow. And the turf stinks. And you're the 2 biggest brands in sports. They should be bonkers up there. And they have a mall and I don't know. It drives me. They have a racetrack. It should all be connected. It drives me crazy.
I feel like
Philly did it right.
I feel like neither the Jets nor the Giants have that New York feel about them like the Yankees do or the Knicks do.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah. They just don't have that same because people just don't like the New York teams. The Yankees. But I don't feel that people dislike the Giants or the Jets.
No, you're just even when they were good, I think you hated the Giants. Some Eagles fans would say I hated the Giants when they were better, right? Back in the day, Strahan, Tiki Barber.
Yeah, Eagles fans, but not like the national, you either you're a hardcore Yankees fan or you're I hate the Yankees, evil empire. No one
Giants play tonight. I'm surprised they didn't flex that game up. It's a meaningless football game, isn't it?
Well, they had this is the big sales pitch, the 2 Monday Night Football games, playing at the same time, the whole 9.
Oh, there's 2 games tonight?
2,
all at the same time.
What's the other game?
Dolphins, Titans. They're both big.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. Which will be fun for me because I do radio with Alec Gingold, so he'll have a game and then we'll do radio the next night, which is crazy. He can't even keep his head up. I don't know how the guy does it, but
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's,
Well, you keep bringing up Jerry's World, and I can't stomach the transition to the Eagles. So without further ado, appreciate everybody tuning into the Samboner Show. Everything we do here is brought to you by Not for Long Media and the original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge all over the country. You know the deal by now: chocolate, vanilla, peanut butter. FudgeKitchen.com. Get your fudge game on for this holiday season. Also, a big shout out to everybody celebrating Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah.
absolutely.
If you think I can spell Hanukkah, you thought wrong.
I think if anybody could spell it, I would. If you could listen, and I'll say this too, for kids, once they have phones, man, why do you got to spell? You don't have to spell anymore. You just start typing the word comes
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that.
It's funny. Like, I feel like a lot of people actually celebrate both, right? You have those 8 crazy nights, or I don't even know if they're crazy anymore, and then you have the one. But I live in a pretty rural Jewish community, and it seems like most people celebrate both Hanukkah and Christmas. But Mike, real quick, talk to us.
I've been to my fair share of bar and bat mitzvahs.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. My 13-year-old just went to like 2 or 3, and I look back on my days. I can't say that I was ever at a bar mitzvah.
Well, you were like Catholic guilt back in the day, those days, baby. Old school Irish Catholic is different.
It really was. It was different. Mike, you picked up your Christmas tree over the weekend?
I'm embarrassed to say we have a fake.
That's okay. I have one too.
It's funny you say that.
I'm embarrassed to say.
You shouldn't be. You should not be.
Hold on. No. I cannot believe you brought that.
2023, Mike.
The buy or sell segment is coming right now. It was at the bottom of the list. Buy or sell segment brought to you by our good friends at Hank Sauce. Use the promo code SAMBONE. Keep smashing that Sambone button. Buy or sell on the fake Christmas tree. And here we go. Mr. Mike Gill, talk to us.
I used to work on a Christmas tree farm where I cut the trees down for you and all that good stuff. So it's like to have a fake tree, it pains you, but they're so expensive now. It's ridiculous. Like, did the cost of tree sap go up? How's a tree $90 now? Like a tree. I worked on a Christmas tree farm. Any tree on the lot, any one you wanted, $25. How does inflation happen on a Christmas tree?
I am going to sell the fake tree, and here's why. Not for the price, but just for the overall hassle. I bring the tree up the steps every year. We pop it up. We put the ornaments up, and with 1 hour, everything is rocking and rolling. There's no needles I have to vacuum. It's good. The dog, there's no issues there. It's a simple, it's easy, it's nice, it's bright. I can flip the lights on and off with a button. Yeah, I'm lazy.
Ours is look, it's easy to put together. You've been in my house, Colin. So my house is very
nice spread.
Like, it's a very like it has like the white columns and it's very whatever. So she wanted like the white flock tree.
No.
Yeah, so we have like the white. It's not like overly flocked though. It's just very subtle.
You have a white tree?
Flocked, yes.
What does that even mean, Mike?
A flocked tree means it has like the white snow appearance to it.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Frosty. I'm out.
It's very frosty.
Yeah, I'll Frosty the Snowman.
I'll send you a picture. When I send a picture, you guys can put it up on the screen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm out, Mac. I want to hear your thoughts.
It's funny. I'm sitting here. I want to immediately, sell. Here's the FedEx truck for the first of probably 20 times today. But I want to immediately sell. But then the memories that I have of Christmas going to my mom's house, my dad's mom, she just had that that picturesque, perfect fake tree in the corner. And it just started to spark some memories of growing up as a kid. My mom Eleanor drinking her Manhattan, smoking her Marlboro 100s. But at the end of the day, I think, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, there's a tradition involved there, taking your kids out to get a Christmas tree. But Mike, to your point, I think that we're dealing with some sort of Christmas tree mob. I went down the street to get the traditional 9-foot Fraser fir. That's what we like to get. And they didn't have any. He's like, I ran out at 100, and they ran out the first 2 days. I'm like, how the hell did you run out of 100 9-foot Fraser firs on December 5th? Because that's our world, right? Everyone's like, I need a tree for the bar. We need a tree for the living room. It's like cranking them out. But I think that there's some sort of mob just stopping at all these different tree stands and saying, hey, what do you need? I got this. I got that. I got this. They're like the local drug dealer at this point. It's crazy. Off the back of the truck. Got my tree up the back of the truck. Tree
Check your phones, guys. You get a picture of the whole living room now.
Oh.
Flock tree. You get a little flock look of the tree. You get
wow.
Ooh, Mike.
We got to start looking for 97
class.
Nice spread.
Hey, Mike, I'm gonna give this.
It looks like a Hallmark card.
TV's in the wrong spot.
It's wild card month here at the Samboner. That's a solid 9.5 spread right there, Mike. Well done.
Mike, the TV's in the wrong spot. Put the TV above the fireplace like everybody else. What?
The TV above the fireplace. It's a tough neck. It's a little higher than it appears.
Mike, you got it in the corner. This is like my father-in-law.
Well, that's because so if you look at this room, there are no corners in our house. So the tree has to go in such an odd spot. The television is usually in the middle of that thing.
So you can't sit. You only 5 people can see the TV in your house right now. Not even 3. You got to look through the snowflaked tree, fake tree. I mean, God bless. I mean, listen, teach his own.
It looks like a Hallmark card.
It does.
Oh my God.
For a bachelor.
Good stuff, though. Good stuff. Good buy or sell segment. Hope everybody's having a great Christmas holiday season. 14 days, baby. 14 days.
What's wrong with the birds? What's wrong with the birds? What's wrong with them? It's over, Mick. 610-632. Should we bring Dick Foles back? Let's bring him back.
It's not over, right? And here's why, right? Because we all talk about this day in, day out. This is a week-to-week league. That said, we're in trouble. I think the Eagles are in trouble. Yes, sir, Mr.
Well, here's the thing I would add to say to this. The first thing, okay, Dallas for the whole year had to prove that they could beat a legitimate team. They had not won a game all year. They have done that. They have not only beat you, they pretty much dominated that game. It was really never competitive. So
score. If they don't scoop and score that, it's over.
Correct. Now, the Eagles had a bunch of drops in that game that I do think changed the trajectory of how that game could have gone. But either way, they could not get a stop. They could not find a way. So at this point, you now have to enter Dallas into the realm of legitimate contender. That's another team, though, that most Eagles fans were like, I don't believe in them because they can't beat anybody. Now, I never felt that way. I picked Dallas to win the game handily. I had 34-20. I didn't think the game would be all that close.
Wait, you picked Dallas ahead of time?
Philadelphia right now can't get out of its own way. They got a bunch of problems, and Dallas is an offense that they just can't stop. Look, I know Darius Slay doesn't want to step up and say, hey, we're having problems tackling. They can't tackle. They can't make a play in the secondary. The secondary, these teams are looking at it and saying, you can't stop us. We're going to go right after you. And then the front four is just not getting enough pressure. This defense is predicated on them getting pressure. They're not getting any pressure. And confounded by the fact that Dallas has an offense that's 1, 2, 3, plant the foot, get it out. So those type of teams are going to give you problems. So if your defense is predicated on these slow dropbacks, slow developing plays, that's not Dallas and that's not San Francisco. And they are 2 teams that are in your conference that you're going to have to figure out a way to beat.
Yeah, no, and I think amongst those 3 teams, all good points, Mike, but amongst these 3 teams, the Cowboys, the Niners, and the Eagles, I wouldn't want to face any of them at home, right? So if you're the home team in this particular case, unfortunately, the Eagles just dropped to the 5th seed. So they're on the outside looking in from a home field advantage standpoint. But, look, at the end of the day, turnovers are going to be the killer, right, at the end of the day. But even with the fact that we did turn the ball over 3 times, I still think the Cowboys were the better team. I still think the Cowboys would have won that game. But, Jalen Hurts, he was throwing the ball incredibly, but at the same time, like that early fumble drive in to make it 7-7, like these little turnovers can dictate the entire outcome. But I digress. I thought that the Lincoln Financial Field was one of the toughest places to play, but the Cowboys just won 15 straight at home. Look, I could have came out of the gates here going, this league is absolutely fixed, but I'm not going to go down that road. I did see some favoritism from the refs.
Look, I was watching the 1:00 games, and all I kept saying was, that's a bad loss. That's a bad loss. That's a bad loss. Detroit lost yesterday. The Jets blow out Houston yesterday. Houston's in the thick of a playoff. You can't lose to that team. Indianapolis is in the playoffs. They lost you. How many teams that were the team that needed the win yesterday?
Raiders
lost the game.
Job. Pierce to keep his job, right? 3-0. Right. That was hot. That's training.
Yo, Colin, I have to ask you a quick question with respect to that game.
Yep.
When was the last time you saw a game 0-0 for that long?
Nick, I think it's the first time in NFL history there's been a game 0-0 going to the 4th quarter.
Holy
that
shit.
sounds a little
I'm sitting
weird
there
to
shaking
me.
my head. I'm like, I have not seen this in a long, long time. Like,
And
how do
those
you
teams have
explain it?
offensive weapons. Like
I
I know their
know.
quarterbacks aren't like Pro Bowlers, but I mean those teams put up points. They both have good running backs. They have good wideouts. They have good tight ends. Yeah, I mean, listen. Here's my thoughts on the Eagles. Last year, there's a reason why that Eagles defense played well. That offense for the Eagles clicked at a rate that was ridiculous. Jalen Hurts, MVP candidate, those receivers, the run game, the O-line, the whole nine. But the Eagles now are playing from behind, and teams are pinning their ears back and absolutely bringing the house on you. Cover zero every time. Jalen's on his back foot. I don't know how you're not. They're bringing cover zero. They're bringing an extra guy free. So you got to scheme that up and sketch that up and get the ball in your receiver's hands and hope you can break a tackle and get a first down. So credit to Dan Quinn there. Secondly, when these games get stretched down and they're coming back, Dan Quinn, Steve Spagnuolo, Sean McDermott. These are defensive like masterminds in this league these last couple games. Like, you don't just come back on these defenses. Now, the Eagles did obviously against the Bills and they did against the Chiefs, and I understand that, but very, very close. But you can't rely on that consistently. So for me, when you keep these games close, the Eagles defense could be world beaters. And if the Eagles are winning, the Eagles defense could be dominant. We saw it last year. But when the Eagles are in these close games and it starts to get ugly a little bit, that's what, to me, the complementary football is not there where it's been in the past. So the challenge for me offensively with the Eagles is like, what's next? Because the Eagles offense to me feels very NBA-like, not college basketball. And I'll give my analogy. The NBA is one guy, one-on-one, who's open, take the matchup, make the throw. Maybe we'll run the ball a little bit, but we're going to take these, boom, we're going to throw the fade. We're going to throw this. We're going to let Jalen run around a little bit. Selective. College basketball, pass the ball, move the ball, get in the open corner. Very Niners, right? We don't know what you're going to do, but we know you can run it. You can pass it. The play action game, the deep passes. It's like, no, it's like the opposite. We're going to shoot the three to get the paint open instead of like get the paint open and pound the rock inside instead of running.
So it's funny you say that. That's a great call, Colin, because, look, they were running the ball, but they weren't really running it effectively.
No.
Like Jalen Hurts was the leading rusher, but going into halftime, I tried to honest to God, I was remaining optimistic. I was keeping positive. I just was saying, let's come back out in the second half and just get Swift going. And they did. But just like that, boom, A.J. Brown, fumble, turnover. And it's like, it's a momentum killer, man.
If you lose a turnover battle, it's like 75% loss.
It real is that's an interesting stat.
It's in the 70s. Pretty sure it's in the 70s.
Well, the ironic part was the week before against San Francisco, they didn't turn the ball over at all and still got wiped. So we got problems on both aspects. Last week, no turnovers, and you still couldn't score. This week, 3 turnovers prevented you to score. Now, there's some murmurs and some rumblings that the players are saying we're too predictable, not enough creativity in the offense. So
they were in the same plays last year. I watched it. It's the same plays, guys. For those that are answering that, it's the same plays.
Well, let me ask you this then, Colin. If you're running the same plays 2 years in a row, do you become predictable?
Yeah, but everybody does. The Niners run the same plays all the time.
Hey, I see what you've – well, I mean, they might run the same plays. There's a different play caller, so maybe the rhythm of those plays is a little different.
No question, Mike. 100%. To me, it's like, why aren't we running the football? Like, unapologetically.
Effectively. And when we run the ball effectively, it creates more opportunity for other players, other plays. It opens up the field. Like, I just feel like you got to get back to that attack. 6 carries against the Niners for DeAndre Swift, and then 3 in the first half last night. I'm sorry, but I'm shaking my head with respect to that offensive scheme. And I'm no freaking X's and O guy here. I'm a Samboner at the end of the day. But, dude, this team has the ability to fucking run the ball downhill and score fast. Like, they keep saying, we haven't played our best football. Like, early on, like, there's a reason we're 10-2, or I'm sorry, there was a reason we were 10-1, right? This team is absolutely stacked. Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate. So, like, where did all these screws start to come loose and why?
Well, it's the million-dollar question. I'll say this, Mick. The answer is complementary football. You need to help each other. It feels, and of course they want to win and help each other. I'm not saying that, but your offense needs to have long, sustained drives. Your defense needs to create turnovers. Special teams, you need pop plays that can happen. So for me, like, do you see that all 3 phases all year long? No, that's why they say we haven't played our best football yet. So until all 3 of those things come together, you're going to see a lot of hero ball, in my opinion. deep shot here, big plays by these guys, but like no more big plays. If I'm them, I'm like, no, we are simple. We're cutting the playbook down. We need to run the football. Jalen, you're handing off there's no read option anymore. You're handing it, we're pounding it, and we're not asking any questions. Receivers, you got to block your ass off because we are running the ball this week. And then guess what, guys? We're going to let it loose in the second half, and we're going to run away with the game. But to me, it's complimentary football, and I don't feel the offense is playing that. I know they want to. I'm not saying, but like that is the answer. We don't have sustained drives. Like we have turnovers. Like we are hurting our defense. So you can say Sean Desai all you want, but teams in this league are meant to have success on offense. They're meant to. That's why there's fantasy football, and they're all offensive players. That's why the scoring numbers are ridiculous other than the Vikings game. But like at the end of the day, you have to have sustained drives. Dallas, sustained drives, big plays, everything. So, I mean, I know run the ball. I get all that.
Well, I'll tell you this, yards per carry, 3.8 in the NFL since that week 4 when they were just running bonkers, 27th in the NFL. Yards after contact, 2.3 yards. That's 31st in the league. You know, Swift is a nice change of pace type of back.
They don't give it to him.
I don't know, though, that you can hand him the ball 18 to 25 times and expect that you're going to get this downhill guy burying and beating up on it.
No, but you have other guys like Quez Watkins and Boston Scott. Like, you just get these guys going, right? Dime a dozen. Boom, boom,
No.
boom.
You said Quez Watkins. You mean Gainwell, who stinks out loud.
Or Kenneth Gainwell at the same time. He's had his moment.
Okay, I don't want to say Gainwell stinks. Here's the problem. Swift, Gainwell, and Scott all essentially do the same things. They don't have a complementary to Swift. If you have Swift, who's a guy who's really lightning fast and has the burst, you need a guy that can pound it and beat up on a team so that you're burying him inside and then Swift on the outside. You're running 3 guys, really 2. Scott doesn't get any touches. Gainwell offers nothing. He's the change of pace back who has no change of pace. That's it.
I mean, guys, I'm looking back at we're putting up 34, 34, 31, 38, 37, like big numbers when we were winning.
A lot easier to play defense that way, Mick. A lot easier. That's my point. Is like, hey, man, you got this offense. There's a lot of money on the side of the ball. A lot of money. Probably the most expensive offense in the NFL. You better find a way to score some points, guys. Your head coach is an offensive play caller. You got a good play caller, Johnson. He's been a guy who's coached a long time. What do you mean, Colin? Good play caller. Listen, he's a qualified coach. That's my point.
Right.
But with those horses, with that offensive line, those receivers, that tight end, that quarterback, DeAndre Swift, a couple of good guys, they should be scoring. And there's a reason why they're not. My opinion, it's the design run game. But everyone wants to add a tight end and a fullback and all this stuff. I don't believe in that. They run a very college RPO offense. So this is the problem with these offenses. I love them to death when they work, but when they don't, it's catastrophic. And there's nowhere you can go other than tush push to really impose your will. You can't just line up with tight ends and fullbacks and say, hey, we're going to run you over. That's not how they're built. That's why they have backs like that. So to me, they need to turn into an FU football team, run right through you, run right at you, and be okay with 3rd and 5. That's what I would do. And I would let Jalen run early, which we saw in this football game. That shows you what they think of the backs, by the way. Jalen running early. Because when does Jalen Hurts run like that in the first quarter? Never. So there's a mindset.
He did last year.
Yeah, he did. And they were scared, right? Because he got hurt in the whole 9. So
that's part of but that's all encompassing here is you used him a certain way last year with disregard to the big picture. Now he signs that contract, and now the big picture becomes we can't get this guy hurt.
Well, I don't think there's anything to do with the contract. It means we can't win without him.
Yeah, but then you're calling it their offense this year is not the same because Jalen Hurts is. I looked at this last week. He is 40 carries off his pace from last year. He's 300 yards off his pace from last year.
I think there's a reason why, though. It's his health, his knee.
Oh, yeah.
He gets hurt. They're toast. That's what I'm saying. But I agree, Mike. There was a conscious effort like Jalen. We can't run you this year, bro. Plus, he doesn't know how to slide right. It's weird for being.
Wait till he starts to talk about those demons. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just
I love it though. You see how calm he was when he made his mistakes. That's a warrior. You know how hard that is to do, man. I've jumped off sides in an NFL game, and I literally thought I was going to jump off a bridge. This guy's fumbling in the biggest stage and you're worth 250 million, and he's like, "I'll be back."
Fumbling all too often. He shouldn't be running that hard.
The way his face looks inside of his helmet, it looks like his helmet's too tight.
I know. I noticed that too. It's like chin strap was up his
bunched up in the helmet. Like
I mean, how are you supposed to eat Pete's Famous Pizza or Moustaki's Authentic Gyros with your chin strap tucked up under your lip like that? Like, give the guy some breathing room. He's got to get his Samboner on while he's playing quarterback. Now, big shout out to our good friends Pete and Gus. Pete's Famous Pizza holding it down. 3 locations, franchising left and right. Also, Moustaki Authentic Gyros. God, man alive. I might go down there tomorrow, actually, get my Samboner on with some Moustaki.
Man alive.
Man alive. Hit those guys up, doing nothing but wonders. But let's talk a little bit around their league. We touched on the 0-0 game with the Vikings and the Las Vegas Raiders. Colin, I was actually thinking about you watching. I guess this touchdown must have got called back, but the celebration, the keg stand celebration, I said, holy shit, if that's CT in the end zone, that's the perfect end zone celebration. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I have not. It was great to see the Vikings do it. My whole thing is if I scored again, right? I've scored once, which is amazing and an unbelievable thing, and I'm proud of it. But if I scored again, I was going to go in there, flip the cooler open, grab beers, throw them to the guys, fake shotgun, and then spike the ball. That was what I was going to do. It never happened. We had a couple more plays in that could have happened, but it never happened. But my favorite part of that whole video with the Vikings, Mick, is Josh Metellus, who's a stud for them, 44. He lines up everywhere. Safety, great player out of Michigan. I got to know him this year. The guy's an unbelievable human, too. He's right across from me in the locker room. While they're doing the keg stand, he gets a cup, chugs it, and then he's stumbling around like he's hammered. Watch him. That's the best part about it. He comes right into the screen, and he's like stumbling drunk. So shout out to the Vikings for the keg stand, man. Great work. And a big win. That Vikings team, Kevin O'Connell, he should be up for Coach of the Year for all the issues they've had. Missing Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins out for the year, and they're above 500, I believe, and they're in the playoffs. Really, really impressive. Detroit's trending down. They're trending somewhere. Who knows? Green Bay's trending somewhere. Who knows? So Chicago's winning football games.
I'll tell you, man, the AFC is loaded with 7-6 teams. I thought one of the greatest games of the weekend happened to be the 1:00 game between the Rams and the Ravens. The walk-off punt for a touchdown, but the touchdown that Zay Flowers scored. I want to touch on this quick. And dude, granted, it was a catch, 3 steps. But when he hit the ground, the ball came out. It was the same exact touchdown as the tight end from the Cardinals the week prior. 3 steps down, football move, touchdown, play over, but he falls to the ground. The ball pops out. Like, are the refs at this point just calling very inconsistent games, would you say?
What do you think?
Are the refs calling? They stare. That Eagles game last night was The Eagles game last night was embarrassing. It's so bad. They got a major problem. I don't know how you fix it. Somebody's got to call penalties, but it's so bad in every single game. You know, all these people complain the refs are against my team. No, they're against everybody's team every week. They're out to get you. You know why? They are inept. They're incapable of keeping up with it's not their fault. These athletes, the Colin Thompsons of the world, they're too big, too fast.
The first quarter last night was unwatchable. It was like every fucking play was a penalty. Every play.
My girlfriend was watching the game last night, and she just finally said, this is ridiculous. It's a flag on every play. And she's like, I'm out. Like, she's trying to give it a chance. Football, she is trying to sample your product, and it fucking blows. Your product sucks. They need to do something. Look, I was one of the people.
You need to move your TV over to the left.
Mike's pissed he's got no one to watch the game with anymore. That's why he's pissed. Like, my girlfriend.
She tried. I give her credit. She tried, and she said, this product is awful. It's an awful product. How do you guys watch this? And she's not wrong. Look,
she's not wrong. You're not. She's not wrong at all. There's a lot of.
She's not wrong at all. I was one of these people a couple of years ago when they had the referees on strike. I said, get them the fuck out. They suck. Get new guys in here. Okay. Get new guys in here that you can train to the game. These guys
need to be former players.
Many of these guys were trained to a game that no longer exists. The rules are so over legislated. You got all these old timers. They don't know these rules. They're going to rules from games that they played years ago. They cannot keep up. What's that?
They played with no helmets back in their day. No, I agree, Mike. I think I love this. First off, I love the juice. You always bring it. But okay, as a player, as someone who sits here and man, these are like rough. I'm very like positive because I know some of them are really great guys. They really are trying. They really are. Like these people want to have success. This isn't like
I'm not suggesting they're bad people. I'm not suggesting.
No, I know you're not, Mike. No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just bringing it from my experience. Like I've met a lot of these crews, and like they work their ass off, man. They like watch film. They get graded. Like they get criticizing their community now publicly. I think for me, you bring up great points, but I think there needs to be a way to get players into the reffing community quickly. Smart, former offensive linemen, like guys who like really watch and study the game, like some good defensive backs, like they should be the back judges and pay them a lot of money because guess what? The league is making a fortune's an understatement.
Okay, so there's a couple things here. One, a lot of the best referees are not reffing anymore because they're on TV. Television is paying more than the refs. So you're
at home and they call you in and say, what do you think here, Mick McKenzie? What do you think? Well, he got 2 feet down and the ball's in. Are you kidding me? That's the best job in sports.
The television ref ain't ever disagreeing with his brother, and he's not saying they made the wrong decision. Half the time they're saying, no, I agree. There should have been a flag there. You know, you got to make that call. No, you're allowed to say, look, they got this one wrong. I mean, but those guys were supposedly the best, like Gene Steratore, John Perry, that group of guys. They're all on TV now.
I know we talked about this like during baseball season. I think this came up like, you know, when like, do you think AI will ever come into play? Like, I know you guys had thought that at one point there'll be a robot calling balls and strikes behind the.
It's hard for, like, that's what I said. I don't know. Like, people talk about getting full-time referees. I don't know what giving a guy a full-time job. He's not going to ref a game on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when there's no games to ref. Just because
you're the off season. They're talking about.
So what was the story? What was the story over the weekend with the Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes? He was all jacked up over some bad calls, but like
a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
So here's what happened, Mick.
Up in the neutral zone.
I know. Go ahead.
The neutral zone. I got a couple things to unpack there. He was over. Now, listen, in the NFL, they're pretty loose and lenient with that with the wideouts. Like in college, you are taught. Like college players, you got to be like behind the line if you're off, like crazy behind. NFL, they give you some gray area. They really do a nice job making some gray area there. I'm not going to nerd out with football too much and lose people. But you get warned, you have conversations, and you're a wideout. You go out there, you point at the ref, and the ref gives you a thumbs up. Then you're good. Right? It's always that way. Yes. So he probably didn't do that. He could have been warned. And listen, it was a penalty. A couple things to unpack with this. That play Travis Kelce made, he catch that ball and flip it back. He didn't just flip it back. Mike and I were talking about this earlier. He threw it back. That was so impressive. And they scored a walk-off touchdown in Kansas City. Could have been literally one of the greatest plays in like NFL history to win a game against Buffalo at home. Like that was bedlam. He threw the ball 30 yards across the field. And Tony waltzed in the end zone. So there's that. The people that are going to call Mahomes a crybaby for this, listen, you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. You want passion. You want fire. You want Michael Jordan. And then all of a sudden when he gets upset and pissed, screw it. I love it. I mean, listen, I wouldn't do it. That's not who I am, but I love it for him. God bless him. There's nothing wrong with what he did. So that's
I'm on his side, Colin. I'm on his side too. He was quoted by saying 10 fucking years in this league playing this game. That call was never made until yesterday.
Yeah, he was offsides pretty bad though.
He was, but the warning wasn't there. The warning should be there. If you're gonna that bugs me, man.
No, I agree. But listen, if that ball gets skipped in the dirt and they get a penalty, it's no big deal. They move back 5 yards, nothing goes on. It just so happened the greatest play in like the season happened that play. So I completely agree, Mick. But listen, it's drama. This is media. We get give us everyone to talk about this week. This is what the league loves. Don't let them fool you. This is what the league loves.
Do they seriously love, though, that the referees are the topic of conversation? Do they like that?
Yeah, sure. Every week. Because you know what? The NFL is the top of the headline. Every show is talking about it. Because what else are we going to talk about?
What are you talking about? What else are we going to talk about? There's a ton of things to talk about. They shouldn't.
But there's opinion on this. People are calling it, texting. This is ridiculous. These refs. It creates so much engagement. So I'm not saying, yeah, they don't like it. Don't get me wrong. But man, they love the engagement with it.
I
These
think
refs take shrapnel
I
for the league.
was listening. I think it was Andrew Brandt's podcast who mentioned that the referees don't want to be full time either because they have other jobs. This is like a second job for them where they're making $250,000 a year for working about 22 weekends a year. Why do they want to be full time when they can go make whatever they're making at their other
During
job?
the season, they're all lawyers, accountants, real estate agents.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
So during the week, but thinking about it this way, I had a coach say to me, and he had a different story and a really colorful version of it. And I'm not getting into it on this show. But think about this guy. This guy's a lawyer and an accountant during the week, and he's putting your career's in his hands on Sunday. All week long, working, doing his thing, takes the kids to school, goes to work all day, maybe a couple cocktails and some dinner on a Thursday night. God bless him. He should. We live in a great country. You should be able to do all that stuff. But then on Sunday, he flies in on Friday and calls something that could literally alter your career. So to me, in season, sorry, guys, you are locked in on football. You are 100% football. I'm sorry. Like, there's got to be a way to make it work because it's affecting lives. It's affecting careers. It's affecting jobs. And I get it. Before, screen was a little grainy. We couldn't really know. Replay wasn't the way it is. We shouldn't really know. Now there's hundreds of cameras. So everybody's a ref and Monday morning quarterback now. So to me, because of all that pressure and how their game has grown, I think in season, I'm really sorry to say it, folks, but you need to be full-time referees. You need to be because there's too much on the line now.
3 times last night in the Eagles game, 3. They picked up a flag and said, no penalty here. And all 3 times, the television camera said, I don't know why they picked the flag up. There was a penalty all 3 times.
Why isn't there somebody in their ear? Like, it's so easy. The technology now, it's like boop. Like,
right.
You can have a hearing aid the size of like a Tic Tac.
Yep.
And like, we can't put it in their ear now and just say, hey guys, like, hey, there was a flag. Drop the flag. Big time holding on this play. Do that. Like,
I hate that though. I don't like electronics. Like the whole thing.
I hear you.
With the pitching glove and it goes out, it stops the game. Like, come on, go back to the natural way of playing the sport. Right.
No, I agree, Mike. I mean, Mick, there's something about the beauty of the game where the game is the game and it's reffed and it's all part of the moment and the severe. It was a catch, it's a non-catch, but the game's moving too fast. There's so much pressure now on it. Just gambling's bigger than it's ever been. So you know what? The technology in the game. Let's fix this goal line. Let's put a chip in all these balls so when it crosses the goal line, fireworks go off and we know it's a touchdown.
That's immediate. Like Micah Parsons said something, Colin. I'm interested to see if you're. This was a couple weeks ago. He said they actually need. But he said they need more refs on the field.
Yes.
I don't know that. You think they need more?
You can have more refs behind the game, behind the play, right? So like you can have like 2, like one watching the right side of the O line, one watching the left. Because listen, guys. I've sat in these team meeting rooms and the head coach brings during training camp. It's a great point. It's a great topic of conversation where I can bring the listeners into training camp. So in training camp, like when you get a little bit into it, the refs show up. Each unit, right? So these they're the same refs. They travel together every week together. So we'll have like the Fox or whatever it is. I forget what it is. The AFC South crew, and there's another crew, but they come and they hang out for 3-4 days. And they'll ref your entire practice. And then they come into your TV. They'll come, each one of them will split up and one will be in the offensive line room, one will come in the tight end room, and they'll just come hang out. And any questions you have for them, you just turn around and ask the ref. So I've established good relationships with them. They're really good guys, girls. But so during the team meetings, the head coach brings them in and says, all right, guys, take me through, Matt Rule, take me through all your responsibilities. Could you introduce the staff? We all get to know you, but take me through your responsibility. You should hear what they're watching. I mean, these guys that are watching the wideouts and DBs, it's so impressive how they can keep up with the play. They're like, we're looking through this guy to the quarterback. You're like, wait, what? So you're responsible for 4 things? How do you? My vision is here to here to here. I mean, it's like really professional, which you would assume. But to hear them go into it, you're like, whoa, boy, these guys got a lot of responsibility. So Mike is not wrong. There should be some help there. I don't know where you put it on the field. There's not a lot of room out there.
You're putting more officials. You're only asking for more flags.
Yeah, no, I hear you. There's going to be more flags. This is how it is.
There's so many plays that happen.
We should have a no flag game.
But is there a communication like in the booth to the ref during the game? Like for example, in baseball, let's just say the ump keeps just missing the strike zone. and he's just missing it by a couple inches. Like, is there an in-game message like, hey, we're looking at the screen, we're looking at the box, you're way outside for the last 2 or 3 innings, and then maybe that
The problem is
umpire will
football's not
adjust?
inside that. Football's not in that box. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's so many things. Now, unless some guy's being an absolute asshat, right? And he's like punching people in the nuts and shit, and you don't see that. But end of the day, like, football's so complex. That's the problem, right? That's why it's the #1 sport in the world. You're like, this takes 1 million people to make it go. Millions it takes. Yeah, it's a loaded question. I don't know. I don't know the right answer, but I know this. Them being part-time is not a good thing. Not a good thing. You live your life 6 days a week, and then you pop up to a $1 trillion situation, and you got to make your eyes work. Like, I know they work during the week. These guys work out. They watch a lot of tape. I'm not saying they're lazy. I'm just saying you are now responsible for major gambling implications. You're responsible for coaches and players' career way more than ever. It's public eye now. Before, you really couldn't see a hold. Nah. Now, every guy's going back. Me, Baldy, you name it. We're watching the tape. They missed a play here. So whatever they can to support the refs, they got to do it.
There's a penalty on every single.
I know there is.
So
I held my whole career.
Not good, man. It's not good for the league.
Thing. We all know there's a penalty on every single play, but so many times they are calling penalties that are inconsequential to the result of the play that occurred. So you're saying, yep, there was a hold over here. That hold had nothing to do with that play's success. You know what I mean? Like, so it's almost like let the play materialize before you call that play that had nothing to do with why the play was success. And that's a hard balance. How do you even do that? I don't know.
I don't know, guys. On the next episode of
Sam Bonin can also be complex, but our friends up in Westchester seem to have figured it all out. Shout out to our good friend Spear and the family at Pizza Westchester, Steaks Westchester. I said it last week. Westchester, Pennsylvania is becoming almost like the new capital for food and good cheesesteaks and pizza. It's likely some of the best pizza. Pizza Westchester is likely some of the best pizza in Philadelphia or the outskirts of Philadelphia. I think the whole not tri-state, but I think the whole suburban Philadelphia area is Philadelphia. And then Steaks Westchester just came onto the scene about 2 months ago, and they are absolutely crushing the cheesesteak game. If you haven't been, get yourself up to Westchester and get your Samboner on. It's wild card month. Anything goes. The holidays are near. 14 days till Christmas. And we're struggling. We're struggling with this, just trying to figure out this Philadelphia Eagles team, this NFL league that we all bleed blue and green every single Sunday, Monday. It's just one of those leagues, though. It's just so contagious. You know you're going to sit your ass down and watch some Monday Night Football after we just bitched and complained about it for the last 45 minutes. That's either here nor there. But switching topics, got to bring this up because we're all big baseball fans. 10 years, $700 million. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Michael, hit us with it, man. Have you seen anything like it? Did you ever expect it in a million years? 10 mil, 700 mil?
No, it's funny because the whole story about Ohtani, there's all this thing like it's not good for baseball, that's so secretive. And then like the one day when he met with the Dodgers, Dave Roberts comes out and kind of admitted that they met with him. I'm like, well, he didn't want anybody to know that. Yeah, if he's getting $700 million, I'll say whatever the hell I want. You know, like they just blew everybody's offer out of the water. It was like,
right.
He's
Harper's looking for more money already. Like, can you blame him when you see shit like that?
He's worth every penny and more. International audience loan. He's worth every penny, every dollar, every viewer, everything. The guy's the best baseball player to ever walk the earth, and it's probably not even close.
I always think about it in these terms, and it makes me angry and sad, and I don't even know what other emotions. But if a baseball team has $700 million to pay one of their employees, this thing has gotten out of control. Nobody should be making that kind of money. I don't care what anybody says. No one's worth that. Nobody. And by the way, the person might be worth it, but the fans who are going to those games can't afford it. Your people are paying mortgages they don't have to go to these games so that someone can make $700 million. It's
way beyond that, though, Mike. It's all TV. It's all marketing, social media, jersey. He's gonna be #1 jersey in the world now.
Right. I get it, but a jersey shouldn't cost $200 is the point.
Yeah, but there was no way he wasn't going to one of these upper echelon teams like the Yankees or the Dodgers.
If Toronto would have forked up, look, I don't know what maybe Toronto said we'll give you $550 million, and he got an offer for $700. The problem was the teams on the East Coast were up against it because of the time zone difference. He wanted people back in Japan to be able to watch him play, so at least 3 hours back over there, the games are watchable for the people in Japan. So listen, I just think in general, sports as a whole, it makes me like knowing what people pay to go to a game, any game. It's like I'm paying $245 for tickets to a game, and it's like,
but that would have been that way anyways. Right? What I get you, I hear you. I know salaries have a lot to do with it, but listen, you get standing room only. There's ways to make it work. I will say this: what Arthur Blank's doing in Atlanta, I think you can get into a game, parking, food, family of 4 for $200, like hot dogs, burgers. Dad can have a beer. It's like this whole thing Atlanta does. So that was really cool. I always love playing there because I respect the hell out of him and what he did for trying to get people, families in Atlanta to those games. But I mean, I hear you, Mike. At the end of the day, though, there's supply and demand. Like people want to go watch that team. Now, I would never pitch to him. I told my wife this the other day. I'm not pitching to the guy. Now I know you got to probably Freddie Freeman's right behind him, but I'm not pitching to that cat.
Well, Los Angeles to begin with, they struggle with attendance during the year.
No, they always have. They always will. But it doesn't matter because everybody's watching that game.
Well, now
that is the number one. That will be they're going to blow. They're going to blow the ratings out of the water. Anything that what's his name? Magic Johnson touches is freaking gold. And that guy's he's not the reason why the Dodgers are good, but he's a part of it. And he's sharp. Yeah, I don't mind it, Mick. I don't mind the money. People get hung up on all the money stuff now. Listen, it's welcome to 2023. We are not in 1998 anymore, folks.
No, we aren't.
It is way bigger.
It's all about this. I would have been shocked if the Phillies pulled that off, though. That would have been.
Guys, how much money do you think they made just on a paid partnership for announcing he signed? How much do you think somebody paid just to sponsor that Instagram post?
No idea.
$1 million just for a post. So, like, come on. Like, they're going to make their money back times 2 on him.
Well, hopefully, we're in the right business then.
We are. We're working our way there. You're Shohei Ohtani of Samboner, Mick.
Well, we're rocking. We're rolling. Nothing but a ton of fun here at Samboner Show.
Mick, we need to see your lineup. That's what you need to do. Put your Samboner lineup together. If you had to put a lineup of all the people that Samboner in a routine, don't do it now.
Well,
think that through.
No, you actually just struck a chord.
You need a lineup.
But later this month, we will have an award show.
I want the award. I want to see your Major League Baseball lineup. I want to see where you put
I got
them in
to
the
tell
field.
you right now, batting cleanup from our nation's capital, Mr. Steve Samboner Bonavita. I mean, is this guy for real? He continues to just knock it out of the park. I mean, like honestly, in a second life, I want to be Steve Sam Bonavita. This guy just continues.
Steve Samboner, man.
Life. He's the ultimate Samboner. The ultimate Samboner.
He everywhere he goes. He should change his name to Steve Samboner. Steve Sambonavita. He's got to have a vowel.
That guy's a legend. I saw him once. I sent it to Colin. I said, dude, this guy needs more. He needs his own gig, man.
He sent me. After his Army Navy Sambone, right on the premise with the Army Navy backdrop, the next day traveling home, he sent me 2 more Samboner reviews. The guy's a machine.
Dude,
I like it. I think we definitely got to have an award show here towards the end of the month. That'll be fun.
For being such a baseball guy, though, it would be cool to see your lineup. Who's your head coach? Who's your GM? Like, you put yourself as the GM, Mick, right? Because you're the GM of this puppy. You can have your brother as the head coach or whatever. But then you need to see, like, your lineup. The people that get to that are at taking ABs, and we could dive into all that. You could do a bio. This could be absolutely hysterical.
Oh, years ago, I wanted to get Samboner jerseys, but the rest of the OGs were laughing at me. They thought it was silly idea.
Well, I like Samboner Christmas sweater better.
Because we dropped the ball. We dropped the ball on that one.
We'll be ready next year, though, baby.
Yeah. As we wrap up, we got to touch on the Birds. I'm sorry, the Sixers, the Flyers, 14-7.
The Flyers, baby.
15-10. Are you shitting me? They're going to start filling seats, baby. You got to love it. There it is again. The Zamboner out.
Mick, first off, as our resident Flyers diehard on the show, which I know you are too, but I watch every game because it's just been working out. It's kind of nicer on the West Coast. had a big night, a big day Saturday, came home, boom, 9 o'clock they're on in Colorado, central part of the country. Oh, it's fantastic. First off, this team is playing with their hair on fire. John Tortorella must put his head on the pillow smiling every night like, holy cow. I have a hockey team that's like so bought into what we do. They are relentless to play against. They are a pain in the ass. Travis Konechny, the goalie, the whole situation defensively. Now, they're going to trade some guys and move some guys because they're playing well, and they're going to get some first, second round picks for them, which is great. But they'll probably still win and still make the playoffs if they continue to do it because they have depth. They have scoring. They're tough. Couturier seems to get a lot better weekly with the back. That's brutal. He didn't play for 2 years. So, Torch is great. Danny Briere is great. And I had Liam McHugh on my show before this, who's big. He does all the stuff for TNT, NBC Sports. He's fantastic. And he was talking about Keith Jones and how the Flyers hit a home run. And it's so refreshing. And Mick and Mike can appreciate this. When you hire someone that you respect outside of the field because you know their credibility, climbing the ladder, we really respect that. But that guy is the perfect hockey guy and the perfect guy for Philly. And he said this, I would not take that job for any other organization. I would continue to do what I do. So the Flyers, I know this makes Mike happy. You can listen to the Flyers on 97.3 ESPN. They're so fun to watch. And it's just great to see because for me being the diehard Flyers fan, I was like, I'm never bringing my wife to a game until they're good. And now I'm going to bring her to a game. So I'm excited. She's from Houston. They don't have hockey down there. At least not right now. You ever have Torch on the show, Mike? Torch ever come on? Who comes on? Any Flyers people come on your show?
Yeah, we have a regular Flyers reporter. Yeah, Kevin.
I know. I like it. It's great work.
Yeah, he's very good. If I had Torch on, I don't know. I don't think we used to have. We've had a lot of Flyers because we are the affiliate down the shore. I don't think we had Torch though when he got hired.
John Tortorella. Let's go Flyers, Mick.
By the way, if the playoffs were to start today, they are the number 2 in the Metro.
2. That division, that is nasty. So I'm jacked. Listen, I just hope they're competitive and in it, and they're rocking and rolling, and they put up a fight through it. I think they're going to. Yeah, they're and they play every other night here for the next like 2 to 3 weeks. So they're gonna be a hot ticket, and they're good for the NHL.
The best part about the Flyers too is you can listen to them on the app. So not a lot of sports let you stream, but you can stream NHL Flyers on your phone. So you can listen to Timmy Saunders and Todd Fedoruk is the new radio guy.
Todd, the fridge. There
you go.
What else we got, Mickey? Anything as we wrap up?
Yeah, no, I was just looking back on things. I did want to touch on Big Dom. What was the outcome there? He just suspended for 1 game, Big Dom?
Yeah, that's probably fair. People are
That's
coming at me for my take. I'm like, bro, you don't understand. You don't touch people in the work environment, especially someone who works for another side. You just don't do it. And I get what Dom was doing, and I get it, but you don't do it. And Dom's a legend. That guy, he's never losing his job. But
never. He was there yesterday. I saw him walking off the field. I mean,
he was there
on the field.
It's no big deal. Usually you have the head of security is like off to the side anyways. And then the assistant security guy is like behind the coach. At least not usually, but some of the cases I've been in, the head of security is kind of watching the whole sideline and the team. And then like the assistant security guys behind the head coach. Like when they go out there for the handshake, who's behind him? Obviously Big Dom's in that role, but the backside of the NFL is really cool. Like the ops and all that. Like there's a lot of people, man, that make these machines go. That's why when I get to the refs, when I talk about who's responsible for people's jobs and livelihood, there's family, Dom's family, right? There's a lot of implications with winning and losing. I've seen it in Carolina.
I'd love to sit with you one day, watch a game, and just hit the pause button on the sideline and be like, "What's this guy doing?
Oh,
how does this guy get it?" I mean, you got hype men. There's more hype men. You got guys waving towels. You're like,
they're strength guys, usually strength coaches. The get back coaches and the towel wavers are strength coaches. So they check the guys in at breakfast in the morning. There's like the procedural stuff in the league is really interesting if people are into it. But no, Mike, I love it. You know, I've been a part of it. I've been very blessed, but love that
whole episode right there. We'll do a telestrator. What's this guy's role here? What's he doing? What's his job? What's his job?
The guys that hold the personnel signs.
There's too many people on the sidelines. The sidelines are overrun with people now.
They are, and sideline etiquette is a huge thing in the NFL. Nothing worse when you go to a young team or a new staff, and like all of them are people that have nothing to do with the game, like team doctors or whatever. Like the current moment, right? They could stay on the side and run off, but like you're getting ready to sub into a game, and it's like highly critical moments, like third down, third and short, goal line, and like somebody who's not playing the game or doesn't have a water carton is standing between you and the field because they're clapping their hands and hyping people up. Get the hell out of the way, you have nothing to do with the current game. So lots of complaining on the show today. Lots of juice. We have Mike Gill dropping F-bombs.
Very rare, by the way. That's a rare.
Very rare. It's not even built into your core from doing so much radio over the years.
Colin, you see number 32 in the country, DeMatha, absolutely destroyed number 26 in the country, Archbishop Wood, over the weekend. Last night.
I was there. I
What?
went to the game in the flesh.
You were at the game last night?
Went to the game. Look,
How far is DeMatha from you?
30 minutes.
Oh, I thought
Little high school hoops, Mickey.
Dude, if I was 30 minutes, I would have went as well. Absolutely.
I'll give you a synopsis for our Wood fans out there. Wood came out flat. I went to practice the other day. I was super impressed. When I went to Wood, there was 2 of us that can dunk, maybe 3. The whole team could dunk for Wood football and Wood basketball right now. They got more 3-point shots up pre-practice than we did an entire season at Wood basketball. So that program's really, they got players going to Drexel, Miami, tons of young.
Go down to any of the Big 5 last week?
No, I couldn't do it. If it was Friday night, I would have went. But I'm jonesing for some hardwood stuff. I'm a junkie when it comes to.
Oh, you're gonna have a lot of great high school around you now, Mick. They're gonna.
Oh yeah.
This past weekend, Kentucky was here. They played Penn. Kentucky's got the 2 kids from Camden, Wagner and Bradshaw. They both played big roles in that game. I called a lot of their games while they were at Camden. I called a lot of Camden High games.
Yeah, no, it was
Juwan Wagner's son, right?
Yeah, he's legit. Bradshaw, 7-footer. I mean, those guys in high school, they would play like Camden Catholic, and it would be just it was like the Globetrotters playing the Generals.
We're in the CYO circuit. My kid's only in 7th grade. We've had 2 games already. I've witnessed 4 kids, 6'4" or greater. One of them is Matt Carroll's nephew. I mean,
and they're bouncy. That's the one thing I noticed with this Wood basketball team. Every kid is crazy. Bouncy. Every kid is bouncing up, like rebounds, point guard, big guy. Like everybody's up above the rim and shooting threes. The entire team. You're just like,
it's changed. The whole landscape.
You would do the Mike and drill for 2 hours.
I
would do the Mike and drill with a medicine ball and then do layups and shoot foul shots. That's all I did. That's all we did. But I went to the game, the Wood DeMatha game. It was really cool to see.
So, Colin, you can dunk. You can throw down.
Yeah.
Can you still?
I don't put myself in any situation to get remotely even close.
Oh, come on. Like out in the driveway, you go throw down 10 feet right now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it. Impressive.
Yeah, man. You hope so. But, I mean, you'd think. But, I mean, it's not like I'm not like hitting my head on the rim, but yeah, I can dunk. And I think, too, like if you're in basketball shape, you really can dunk because you're just jumping all the time. And football's a little bit different, more straight line. I've hopped over some people in my day. And I hopped over a kid at Penn State back in the day. And then I got absolutely smoked by Mike Hall. Dumped me on my head, but it was sick. I got a sick picture of me and leaping over the kid. But good game. Woods got some talent for sure. They're getting organized, but DeMatha, man, they were at the home gym, beautiful place.
Holy crap.
And they were just swarming Wood, swarming them. That's a tough bus ride, man, in pouring rain. 3-4 hours. That was a tough drive for them, I'm sure. They didn't respond, but they'll be back. Yeah, young team.
Yeah.
Wood hoops, baby. Shout out to Eddie McCormick.
Good stuff. Well, that's all we got today, Samboner Nation. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate all the love, the support. Nothing but a ton of fun chopping it up with you guys here as we shake down another weekend. Things are starting to thicken. The plot starts to thicken. Lots of 7 and 6 teams. We talk about it all the time. Tons of parity in the NFL. Who's going to come out? Who's going to clinch a spot in the playoffs here? This is when it gets really exciting. So continue to tune in here as we shake down the weekend. Week 15 will be next.
I'll be Samboner in New York City this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, happy holidays. Get your Sambone on, man. Merry Christmas time.
I'll be 30 on Friday, boys.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
I buried the lead. Not looking forward to it. So, yeah, going to celebrate on Saturday. Rip it up, per usual. Sambone.
My 23rd is on the 5th, February 5th. So we'll have to get together and do that.
Yeah, nice.
Mine's January 24th there, Mick.
All right.
Samboner out. Thanks, Mike.
Good times.
That Sambone, and baby, it's on. Dropping 45 minutes just to